For decades, textbooks, trivia games, and urban legends have repeated the same captivating claim. The Great Wall of China is the only human-made structure you can see with the naked eye from orbit. Human visual acuity is strictly bound by biology. The fovea, the small pit in the retina responsible for sharp central vision, is packed with light-detecting cells called cones. Because there is a physical, finite distance between these cones, they have a maximum sampling rate. From an orbital distance of a few hundred miles, the Great Wall's maximum width of roughly 30 feet is too narrow to span the gap between two cones. The eye simply cannot resolve it. In October 2003, China launched its first astronaut, Yang Liwei, into space. When he returned, he confirmed what optometrists already knew. Gazing down at the Asian continent, he could not see the Great Wall. The most famous fact about the Great Wall is a biological impossibility. To understand what this massive structure actually did, we have to strip away the legend of its size and look at its functional engineering. The structure is rarely a single continuous entity. Instead, it is a vast collection of disjointed, overlapping segments built across millennia by entirely different dynasties, from the Qin to the Han, and finally the Ming. As a static military barrier, these walls routinely failed. Nomadic tribes from the northern steppes, including the Mongols and the Manchus, repeatedly breached the defenses, bribed guards, or simply rode around the fortifications to raid the Chinese interior. In 1644, the Ming dynasty collapsed entirely when a commanding general named Wu Sangui struck a deal with the invading Manchu army. He simply opened the heavy doors at Shanhai Pass, allowing the enemy to walk right through. The wall failed to shield the empire from foreign armies, but military defense was only a fraction of its design. It was a sophisticated piece of political technology that excelled at a much more subtle set of tasks. The Ming dynasty sections of the wall have survived centuries of brutal weather, seismic activity, and human intervention. That longevity comes down to a specific innovation in ancient material science. Builders formulated an organic-inorganic composite mortar. They took traditional slaked lime, an inorganic mineral powder, and mixed it with a thick boiling soup of sticky rice. The key ingredient was amylopectin. Amylopectin is a highly branched, complex carbohydrate found in starchy foods. At a microscopic level, these long carbohydrate chains wrapped around the calcium carbonate crystals in the lime. This created a toughened, flexible lattice that is highly water-resistant and strong enough to withstand both modern bulldozers and major earthquakes. Master masons kept the exact ratios of this sticky rice mortar a closely guarded secret, elevating bricklaying to advanced chemical engineering. This chemical durability secured a permanent, standardized physical infrastructure, allowing the imperial government to run highly complex border operations for centuries. The watchtowers dotted along the ridges operated as an immense optical telegraph network. Ming soldiers utilized a rigid, binary signaling code. By releasing specific counts of smoke clouds during the day, or lighting a precise number of fires at night, border guards communicated exact enemy troop numbers from tower to tower. 1 fire meant 100 enemies. 5 fires meant 10,000. Spaced roughly 2 to 3 miles apart, this network of over 1,000 towers could relay a threat from the deep frontier all the way to the capital in Beijing in a matter of hours. Before electricity, it was the fastest data transmission system on the planet. This rapid flow of information stripped power away from isolated frontier generals. The emperor could monitor border incursions in near real time, enforcing total surveillance over his own military commanders. The physical bricks provided the hardware, but this high-speed communication network acted as the empire's software, centralizing data processing and military response. On a daily basis, the massive gates of the wall functioned as an immense Silk Road toll booth. Imperial guards operated the passes as customs houses, extracting heavy tariffs on luxury goods like silk moving west, and strictly regulating where nomadic herders could drive their livestock. The fortifications also faced inward. By restricting travel corridors, the government controlled domestic migration, preventing overtaxed Chinese peasants from fleeing into the northern steppes. To build this machine, emperors forced up to 70% of the working population into labor, leading to an estimated 1 million deaths. The crushing taxation and horrific working conditions triggered massive civil unrest. ultimately toppling the very dynasties that ordered the construction. The structure repeatedly failed to keep invading armies out. Its true utility lay in its capacity to tax, track, and intimidate the millions of people trapped within the emperor's borders. Today, the wall faces an undefeated opponent. In the arid northwestern provinces, vast stretches of the structure were built entirely from compacted loess, a type of silty dirt, rather than brick and stone. Exposed to violent sandstorms and intense freeze-thaw cycles, these rammed earth walls are disintegrating. This diagram outlines a structural pathology called bottom hollowing. Dissolved salts, wind, and water scour the compacted dirt, carving deep cavities at ground level. As cavities deepen, overhanging weight creates massive internal stresses, causing centerline cracks. Gravity eventually causes unilateral tipping and catastrophic structural collapse. Side-by-side satellite imagery reveals the speed of this destruction. Entire segments of the rammed earth wall have collapsed and vanished in as little as 5 years. The wall is losing a war of attrition against the natural environment. To halt the decay, archaeologists are deploying a highly advanced form of digital engineering. Heritage organizations are shifting away from reactive emergency repairs and adopting data-driven preventive conservation. They utilize UAV photogrammetry, flying unmanned aerial vehicles to capture thousands of high-resolution images of the terrain. Researchers use drone data to generate a digital twin, a millimeter-precise 3D virtual replica. Cutting longitudinal sections maps the exact physical decay. The system calculates specific morphological indicators, like hollowing height and depth. Plugging these measurements into predictive algorithms pinpoint sections at risk of collapse. The Great Wall began as a sprawling analog machine designed to track, tax, and control the movements of an empire. Today, we rely on our most sophisticated digital machines to ensure the wall itself survives the relentless movement of time.